Subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications for the latest updates. Latest on Tropical Depression Cristobal, which is moving off the Yucatan Peninsula now and will continue to do so the next several hours. It is now still a 35-mile-an-hour tropical depression, 1,000 millibars as its minimum pressure, and starting to get a bit better organized than it was yesterday when it was basically capitulating over land. It's currently at 20 degrees north, 89.9 degrees west, and a stage 2 CDT scale for the northern Gulf Coast of the United States. We're looking for the most significant impact for this time being now. Significant damage possible at this time being at 12 p.m. CDT, June the 5th. 43 miles from Campeche right now, but no tropical storm force winds there. Merida is to the north, 70 miles away. Cancun, 212 miles away. And then on the Gulf Coast, Mobile, Alabama, 646 miles away, with New Orleans at 595 miles away. Tropical storm watches are in effect for a plethora of locations right now on the northern Gulf Coast, from Intercoastal City to the Alabama-Florida border. And there's also a few places in Mexico that still tropical storm watches as well, in case winds flare up. Those are actually to the northeast of the Yucatan Peninsula, mostly because the wind field will be distorted. Here's the GFS showing precipitation and cloud curve. You can get kind of a size of the air through the influence of the storm. Mostly displaced to the north and east right now. It could, according to this model, try to get a bit better organized and move to the north through the Gulf Coast and take a little kink to the northwest as it potentially makes landfall in Louisiana. Models have narrowed in mostly on that being the potential landfall spot, with possibilities for 8+ inches of rain in significant land areas along the Gulf Coast as well. We've got to keep watch on those. Seasonal temperature is still pretty warm, pretty much the same as what they've been the whole time, 28 to 29 degrees. Mostly where it's going now, a bit on the cooler side out of those two numbers, but still, if we're just sitting along those, it would have the ability to intensify significantly if other inhibiting factors like increasing vertical wind shear and its current disorganization weren't playing a role limiting it more. Here's the GFS wind model. You can see a broader tropical storm force wind field is the forecast from this model run when the storm really moves out into the Gulf, but does show it narrowing as it approaches land, potentially weakening. This relates to our forecast of it calling for a slightly weaker storm at landfall in the National Hurricane Center at 50 miles an hour maximum sustained winds. However, that doesn't matter too much because the main risk from the system will be flooding and heavy rain and even a bit of storm surge. It is a pretty significantly sized storm as well. The tropical storm force winds go like this at the moment. These are National Hurricane Center based numbers. Cancun, 10%. They still have a tropical storm watch, but that does not mean that they will necessarily get winds. New Orleans, 30%. That's the hotspot in terms of city getting most direct impact for the time being. Watch these numbers go up for New Orleans and Mobile. Mobile's at 12% at the time being. Here's the models spread showing the track forecast for the system. You can see pretty narrow consensus now on a Louisiana landfall, mostly northward movement initially, and then a slight turn to the northwest right as it makes landfall, and then continuing up through the greater United States, bringing significant amounts of rainfall, which will be shown here. HRF model for rainfall showing potential for 8+ inches on the eastern side of the storm where it makes landfall, so parts of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and even parts of the Florida Panhandle will have to keep watch for elevated rainfall and possible flooding from the system. Here's the latest satellite imagery of the storm over the past several hours. You can see it doing much better in terms of just pure convection ability than it was yesterday, but still displaced to the north and east of the center of the storm. That means the winds, when they start to come back, will also be displaced there before having the chance to kind of wrap around the system a bit more. You can actually see a more well-defined center at this point too, but regardless of that, still the stage 2 on the CDPS scale, significant damage possible. People on the Gulf Coast need to be keeping a watch on this upcoming weekend and into next week. You can follow us on our outlets, force13.com for web articles and the live cyclone tracker. You can also find us here on YouTube. If you're not watching here already, make sure to subscribe. We're also on Facebook. It's Force13 to find our latest posts there. And we're also on Twitter. It's at Force13 to ask us a question on that platform. You can also help the project become even better by becoming a patron. More information can be found at patreon.com/force13, or you can become an ultimate fan right here on YouTube for perks and to directly support the project and our future endeavors in these times. You can also find us on Discord to communicate with us on our Discord server. Link is in the description below, and you can message Fool13 at extension 9094.